I've been in tech in different aspects of it, but for a very long time. And I wanted something else, but I didn't know what. And then the pandemic hit. And then my husband had this knee surgery he'd been putting off. He had to get ACL, LCL, MCL, all of it replaced. And we finally did it. It was that point in COVID where it was like actually okay to do that. And it was easy to get a surgery slot because not that many people were scheduling surgeries. And so I brought him home from his surgery. And then just maybe an hour later, my daughter and my son were in a bike accident. They were actually thrown out of a cargo bike. My daughter broke her collarbone and she was 5 years old. And then my son all banged up and he was 7. And then I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Because she could not get out of bed. She was in so much, she couldn't even breathe without being in pain.
Oh,
And it's so hard. And then my husband had his leg all pinned up and couldn't move. So we had 14 EMTs in the house. Like it was just chaos. So I brought him home from the hospital. I took her to the hospital, and then I was treating two people who could not get out of bed, my husband downstairs, my daughter upstairs. And that's when Spicewell started. That's basically me being highly motivated to get them back on their feet as soon as possible because caretaking is absolutely crushing, exhausting, especially when you're running up and down, every meal, every snack, all the hydration, all the medication, all of that we had to do. And we took my husband completely off of prescription painkillers. He didn't want to take them. So I treated him with tons and tons of turmeric and ginger, and I made sure that all of his systems were working together to heal him and get his swelling down. And then same for my daughter. And it was just, I don't know where this information came from. I don't know how I knew how to do these things. Again, we talked about this earlier. I just followed some ancient knowledge. It wasn't even me. I feel like most of the time that was doing this, it was just going through me and my hands were being used to put this stuff together. And that is really how I feel because I did dehydrate kale. I did dehydrate broccoli. I put them together. It tasted terrible. And then I tried again and again. I got it to a point where my daughter loved it. And I got it to a point where my husband loved it. And then I was like, okay, we're going to just put it in salt and pepper for now because it's easy to conceal. And then that's how it was born. And
what
it
is
was like right under my nose the whole time. It was sitting there in my kitchen. I just had never made my hands do that. So
is there something specific about those two ingredients that help with conditions?
yeah, it's vitamins. It's all of the things that exist in plants our bodies need in one way or another, or can really benefit from. And with vegetables in particular, like kale. Actually, I had broken my elbow in a bike accident in New York when sometime in my 20s. Basically, I read somewhere that if you eat a lot of kale, your bones will heal faster because of the calcium. And I just ate kale like every day. I ate so much kale. And I also did some Chinese medicine, and my cast came off like 2.5 weeks earlier than it was supposed to. And my doctor was really surprised. And I did the same thing for my daughter and for my husband. And they were both back on their feet in like less than 10 days. And
Wow.
both of their doctors were surprised too. And it was the nutrition. It was 100%. It's vitamin A, vitamin C, all of calcium, iron, all of the things that their little cells needed. And you think about it on a cellular level and you're like, okay, what am I going to give to this cell? Not what am I going to give to this person?
And you talk too about using the real ingredients in a way with real food rather than taking a pill.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are plenty of studies that show if you take a synthesized lab created vitamin, you only absorb about 20% of it. Your body can't really utilize all of it. It's not organic material. It's missing phytonutrients. It's missing all of the sort of magic of what broccoli itself can do. But if you take something from a vegetable-based source, you take something that's real food during the digestion process, if you eat it, you actually absorb 70% of it. So it's just a no-brainer that you should be eating your vitamins from real foods.
Is there